everybody, welcome to my journey. Ooh, and to another weigh-in video. We are doing it in the car because this is just a busy day, and I just don't have time to sit at home and do it when I can be multitasking. So this morning till this afternoon, me and David went up to see Holly and Wesley. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. We're here for weigh-in. Okay, so this week I gained 1.4, and I decided instead of saying I gained, because I'm just saying I fluctuated 1.4. Oh, that looks like the man that mows my yard. Because the day before, the day after, I could have lost. It's just kind of, I didn't eat anymore. I didn't have one of those weeks where I know, oh my gosh, I really ate too much. It was nothing like that. Nothing was out of the ordinary. So I'm just counting it as a fluctuation. I'm not worried about it. That still leaves me at, what did I weigh? I weighed 207 even, and that puts me at 170.1. So I'm still at my 170. So that's cool. But we'll see about next week. I'm not even concerned with it in the least. But this morning we went over to see Holly and Wesley, and Holly's actually getting discharged today. She was supposed to go home Tuesday, but she's had some little complications here and there that just prohibited that. And so today she actually got discharged while we were there, and she was so happy. She's ready to go. She's ready to go. But her Grammy lives in Charlotte, and they're gonna stay with her for a week or two, whatever, just to be easier, especially while she's recovering, to travel back and forth to see Wesley because it's closer. So I think that's awesome. And then Wesley, he's doing so good. Of course, he's still in NICU. He moved up to a different unit. It's called the Rainforest, where the less severe cases would be. Like, he was in the other part, at the first part, and then a couple of days ago he got moved. So he's doing good. He got his he's not intubated. His breathing tube, he doesn't have that. He has a feeding tube and a tube that keeps his belly from being gassy, and his CPAP machine. They lowered his CPAP machine rate today. We talked to the nurse, and putting it on the lowest, and they said he's 100% breathing on his own, but they call it a PEEP number. She told us what it was. You nurses will know. And she said it's like when you breathe, there's that last little bit. Your lungs are still inflated. She said what they're trying to do is, when he breathes, they don't want his lungs to completely collapse on themselves and then have to work so hard to get another breath. So it's just giving him that little edge to take that next breath easier. So he's on that. And then his IVs are gone. His blood sugar's stable. His body temperature is doing good. They did have to put him under the blue lights yesterday, I think it was, for some jaundice, but he's out of that. So he's doing really good. So we got to sit back there and play with him. And oh, I finally got to touch that hair. You can kind of get a red tinge to it, even in the dark. You can. It's not bright red or anything like that, but you can get a red tinge to it. It's dark looking, but you can get a red tinge to it. Soft and long. Oh my gosh. It's over, the little straps that goes around his little head for his CPAP machine. It's laying over the straps. And it's so soft. So he was resting. Really, I didn't even want to try to ask him if I could hold him. They've been getting to hold him, but I didn't want to disturb him because he's all bundled up. He had one arm out, and so I got to rub his arm and his hand and his hair and all this and that. And David did too, and we sat there and watched him for a while. David said he just needed to get his eyes on him. He's worried. Listen, David's very stoic. Y'all don't know him other than what you would see on the tags, and he really let loose on the tags, surprisingly, a whole lot more than I ever thought he would. But he's a very stoic man. He does not express emotions. He doesn't, no, that's not him. But he's worried about Wesley. He said, I just need to put my eyes on him. And so that made him feel better. And my coffee is so weak this afternoon, I should say. That was the last little bit of ground wawa I had, and it wasn't enough to make as much water as I put in there, so it's pretty weak. But, so he's doing good, and that did feel good to see him. And so Mama, she's out of the hospital. That's where I'm going now. I'm headed to her house. She's out of the hospital. They still don't know what was causing her issues, but they send her home with a tablet that's hooked into their hospital and some kind of armband. I don't know all the details. She hasn't given them to me yet, but the hospital's coming out to see her twice a day, and I'm gonna find out today when I sit down up there with her, you know, exactly what they're doing. And but she feels better. She sounds good, but they're still trying to pinpoint what the issue is. And then, if yesterday my brother, who they live together, he went to the ER with a blood clot in his leg, which he's had before. He said this one wasn't completely blocking the vein, thankfully. So I tell you, it's been a rough week hospital-wise for my family, but we're making it through. We're seeing it through. And I went for my epidural Wednesday. Holly was gonna come to me because they said you need a driver because sometimes your legs don't work right or something. That's what they said, because they don't sedate you or nothing. And so David got home early enough he could take me. But I was scared because I hadn't had one. I had the kind they give you, you know, when you're pregnant, but this was not that. This was different. They do that and then shoot steroids in. But it can take 10 to 14 days where it works. I felt terrible that day. They said it feel kind of bad, you know. The day you get it done, it did. It felt awful. It felt worse afterwards than it did when I went. It feels bad today. It hurts. But that's my lower back. But the procedure didn't hurt at all. He's very gentle, I tell you. Now, when he got to the left side, all of a sudden I felt something shooting down my butt and my leg. I said, "Whoa, what was that?" Because it kind of hurt. He said, "That's the medicine I'm putting in." I said, "Oh, what kind?" He said, whatever the name of the steroid was. I said, "Oh, well, I did not feel that on the other side." He said, "Hold on, here comes another slower one." So he put it in slower. Because, see, I didn't feel the one on the other side, so I guess he figured he could just shoot it in too. So the second one, he did it slower. I said, "Oh, yeah, I can feel it." But it wasn't like a zoom, you know. And I said, "Well, I didn't feel anything on the other side." He said, "Well, I looked." He said, it went down in there where it's supposed to go." I said, "Okay." So it was, I just declare it was the difference in that first nerve block that about sent me through the roof, that sent me crying, that I said was horrible, that scared me to do it again. It had to be the doctor. Had to be the doctor. Because this doctor is so much more gentle with the way he does it. The other doctor, he would put the needle in and then he would like pop it like that. Pop it like that to push it down in my muscle, my nerve. This doctor don't do that. He's gentle. So that's the difference. I'm not glad he's out on medical leave, which he hadn't come back, and I don't know if medical leave was code word for something else. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't been back. And that's been a long time ago. So this was the doctor I was supposed to see to begin with from the surgeon. But he was out sick. That's how I got with the other doctor. And then he went out and I got back with the original doctor I was supposed to be with. But he told me, he said, "You will need surgery. It's for the stenosis, not the bones that had fused together." That's the only surgery I thought that there was. He said, "No," he said, "You will eventually have surgery for this stenosis." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I don't know what that entails and how they determine when is the best time, if the epidural don't work. I don't know. But then I go back in 3 weeks to get another nerve block on my middle back, even though the last one didn't work. He said, "Let's try one more time and see. And if it don't work, I don't know what he'll do about that." So I just don't know. I'm just kind of in limbo with it. So, seemed like there was something else I was going to tell y'all. Was there something else I was going to tell y'all? Lord, I don't know. Hold on a minute, let me think. Okay, I'm back. I can't think. There was something else I was going to talk about, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just get off now, and after I talk to Mama, I'll try to give you some more information about what's going on with her. How's that? All right, hang on. Okay, well, I just left my mama's. Oh my word, that house is covered up in Halloween decorations. And they discharged her today, even though she was doing hospital at home. They discharged her. I said, well, did they figure out what's going on? She said, no. She said they're playing with her medicines. They took her off some, and they're going to add them back one at a time. And see if that does whatever. But she's got underlying health problems that need to be taken care of too. So, but they said she could go back to work Monday. What she does, she's fixing to be 80. Oh, Sunday, matter of fact, she's going to be 83 Sunday. And she works for this lunch club. It's a free service for seniors in her county. And this is the one she does. This is the VFW. The VFW I went to when I was a little girl. Because my papa, he was commander of the VFW at one point when I was a little girl, and I sold poppies at the bank and all this and that. And I always wanted to be Buddy Poppy Queen, and I never was. I never sold enough to be Buddy Poppy Queen. My cousin did. Anyway, so we used to go to VFW all the time for dinners and things like that. Way back in the day when I was little. And so she goes up there and she helps the woman who runs it. She helps her like 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Oh, I'm so sorry about that bouncing. And she gets lunch. It's a free service for them. You just have to be a senior in the county, and she enjoys it. So they told her she could do anything she wanted to now. She said she told her boss lady, she said, I think what I'll do, she said, I'll come Monday. She said, but I think if I do nothing else but eat and socialize, I'll just kind of maybe work my way back into it. I said, well, that's probably a good idea to do it like that. So that's where she is. And you know what? I forgot to tell y'all, when I first signed on, I was going to say, Happy Halloween. How could I forget? Today is Halloween. And if you watched my haul, you already know that I'm not having my Halloween party because nobody was going to be able to be there. All the sicknesses and hospitalizations, babies, all this, nobody's going to be there. So I'm like, well, there's no sense to put on a big Halloween party. So RJ said, well, we'll just celebrate bigger next year because it'll be Wesley's birthday. But I got to see him today, so what better Halloween present on Halloween than to see my grandbaby? So there you go. Well, what I'm doing is I got things I need to do at home, but I am halfway to Salisbury at Mama's house. I'm halfway there. So since I didn't get to go to Nazareth this week, I'm going to Nazareth. I mean, if I'm halfway there, why not? I had to stop and get gas. I got a full tank of gas. So I'm just going to head up here and hit the interstate and carry on. So I don't know if I find anything. I'll show you. I don't think I've ever done a haul on a weigh-in before. I don't know. So either way, whether I find anything or I don't find anything, I'll be back to close out. Okay, so I went to Nazareth, didn't find anything. Then I went to Goodwill specifically looking for clothes because it's Goodwill I never go to because they never have anything. I mean, never. They're as bad as the one at home. But I'll show you what I found. And then while I was here, I come on up to Habitats. I pulled up here in one little spot of shade in this whole parking lot because it's so sunny you wouldn't be able to see me. But while I was in there, I got me a peach knee-high. I used to always get a diet cheer wine, but I just can't drink diet drinks no more. I just can't stomach them. So I thought, well, before I head home, I'll show you what I got. Because I told you if I got anything, I'd show you. Even if it is a weigh-in. I need another pair of, and these definitely need washing. I'm sure these people had an animal. But they're size 16, 18. I just need an extra pair of stretchy pants because the ones I got now are 20s. They are so baggy, I had to wear them to get my injections. So baggy, it looked like a family of possums moved out. It's terrible. I cannot wear them in public. So I didn't try these on, but I'm hoping they fit. And then I found 2 shirts that are worn, but I don't care. I don't care. They'll be good enough for just hanging around in. Look, Appalachian. Y'all know how I love my Appalachian. ASU. So I got, and they were 2X. I don't know if that's a 2X men's or a 2X women's. Either way, I got it. And then there's find this one, and there's nothing on the back of that one, so there's that one. And then I found a set of, believe it or not, 4 placemats. I thought these would be pretty for the spring, because you know I told you I'm trying to get some new ones, because the ones I've had for ever. So that's all I got at Goodwill. It's like 12 bucks for all that. And then the only thing I found in here in Habitat was 3 of these. I'm only going to unwrap one. One of them had a marking on it. I hope that's the same thing. Well, if it ain't, they're the exact same color. They were $1 a piece. I got 3 of them just to use as a little styling piece on my shelves. Put a little something on top of it, you know. I got them other ones I found the other week, the little floral ones, to do the same thing. So I thought, well, those are pretty. That's what I would do. You see a little vase on it, a little succulent, a little candle, just whatever. Some little something. But, ooh, it is crowded out here today. I don't go thrifted on Fridays as a rule. Oh, yes, I am close to somebody. I'm like, oh. Listen, my thing beeps way before you get to them. David was backing up somewhere. Must have been when we went to the hospital the other day. He said, how close you gotta be for it when this thing starts beeping? I said, oh, you're a good ways away. That one was close. That was a close call. But now I don't remember what I was gonna say. What was we talking about? Oh, as many people's out today. Lots of people out today. And okay, I'm gonna get home before I hit 5 o'clock traffic, that's for sure. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I hadn't done my menu plan and grocery haul yet. You'll see that tomorrow. I don't know what time you're seeing this today. I don't know. But I'm doing it a little different because I was sitting there, you know, with the baby and being at the hospital and being at the hospital with mama and all the stuff. I just like, oh my gosh, I did not do a menu. And then I didn't feel it was, by that time it was late, and I did not feel like looking through no books, trying to think of nothing. It just was not on my list of priorities. It was late in the day, and when it gets late in the day, I get very unproductive. I was looking at y'all like y'all down there. I get very unproductive. So what I decided to do is I bought the things that were on my list and the things we use regular. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through what I have, and that's what we're gonna make a menu out of, which I do anyway, but not completely. So, because if I look up a new recipe, if it's got 3 or 4 ingredients I don't have, okay, well I'll buy 3 or 4 ingredients. But this time, I'm just gonna limit to, like, if I need fresh vegetables, something like that, then I'll get that, because that's not something you can have on hand and stock up. So this is not like a pantry challenge of January that, you know, everybody does a pantry challenge in January. This is just basically a pantry challenge for this week because I didn't get anything else accomplished. So I thought, well, I'll just take you along and let you peek inside my freezers and what I do have in my pantry in the middle room, and what little bit I got in my cabinet. And we'll just plan a menu on the fly. How about that? Listen, I don't know what y'all gonna see tomorrow. I don't know what kind of video it's gonna be. It might be trash, that's all I know, but I'm gonna do it. So anyway, well, I got the green, so I'm gonna go fix to get on the interstate. You know what I like to do when I get on the interstate? Play my music. So that is all it is today. I fluctuated up 1.4, not worrying about it at all. We'll finish it up next week, doing better, and I'll see you tomorrow for that, whatever it turns out to be, menu plan and grocery haul.